What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Rich Nice back once again. So today we're back on the C-10 project as usual. Today we're looking at the AC. As you can see, we put a bypass for our heater hose because we no longer have a heater box. I think we just have the inside piece that sits in there just to keep the hole covered and keep critters and stuff out. But our original air compressor used to live down here underneath these heater hoses in this area right here by the engine mount. So we can't use the factory compressor with our kit that this truck had. This is a 67 cab. It's a non-AC truck, and this is what it had, I guess, from the factory that you could buy. This thing is old and outdated. So I think we're going to end up taking this out, and we have a new product that will go in its place. So we'll come over here and go to the other truck. This is the original frame that cab came off of. You can see all our extra parts that we didn't need. It was a straight 6. This is your compressor right here. Here's your other piece where you put your lines and everything connects to from the condenser, which is located right here. Goes through, connects to here, connects to your compressor, and then it goes from here out into the cab to that Frigidaire unit, or Frigette unit, should I say. So I'll show you what we got to replace that. All these massive parts that I gotta get rid of. There's another LS engine right there. So we got a product from Old Air Products out of Fort Worth, Texas, and you can use this, or you can use Vintage Air, or there's several other companies out there. I chose this one. I ordered this and it was here in a day. Now granted that I live in Oklahoma City, so it's only a 4-hour drive, 3.5-hour drive or whatever, but I wasn't expecting this to show up until sometime next week. I ordered it like noon on Thursday, and it actually showed up yesterday about 3:30. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get this unboxed so we can lay all these parts out, and then I'll let you look at the video, the intro, and we'll be back and I'll show you what the kit consists of.
Dark side, light this bitch up.
You watched the intro. I pulled everything out of the box. So let's get into what we actually have. We have a new glove box, which we're not going to use because our CPU or ECU, whatever you want to call it, is mounted in our glove box. So we won't be using this. We have our condenser, which will go in front of our radiator right here. So we'll probably have to pull our grill off. We have our wiring. We have our new tensioner and new belt, along with our brackets for our compressor. Again, the stock compressor wouldn't work. The compressor on our frame out there, our straight 6, would not work, so we had to get a new compressor. And this kit is all inclusive, so it comes with everything. Everything is plug and play. So basically it'll take you about 5 or 6 hours to put this in, depending on how much of this stuff you already have removed. So really the only thing we have to do is go inside and remove the box that's covering the hole right there, and then we'll be good to go. Our compressor is going to end up mounting right here where these holes are, these 3 holes. So that's where our bracket's going to mount, and then our compressor will live up here. We will have to take this tensioner off because the kit comes with this new tensioner and a new longer belt. Right here is the new control for your AC. We have our hoses to run all of our stuff. We have our lines that will go from inside our box to the outside of the firewall. We have a new plate that will block off that hole right there and allow our wires to stick through. We have new vents. I believe this vent goes in the center, and these 2 vents will go on the edges of the dash. And this bolts underneath the dash, so I didn't want to end up cutting holes in the dash and trying to mount stuff. And so yeah, I chose the easy route, mount this under the dash, and we'll go from there. This is your blower motor. This sits underneath the dash behind the glove box. This piece right here plugs into here, goes through this hole up here, goes down to here and plugs in. And this just is your thermostat. So inside of here you have a couple of brackets. Stop, fly. You have your grommet, so when these 4 pipes stick through, this will go over it and seal that up. So this is the kit. Like I say, it's all inclusive. Everything you need is in this kit. Hardest thing, oh, it also comes with the pre-crimped lines. I forgot to mention your high and low side that will connect to these pipes right here. You also have your heater valve that goes right here. So again, we'll have heat and air in this. All right, YouTube, I went ahead, jumped ahead. I went ahead and took the inside air box out. It was just sitting in there in 2 bolt holes, but the instructions does tell you to drill this hole out, actually this hole out right here, and then this bottom hole out, and then this top hole out over here. That way when you put your plate in, these are 5/16 inch bolts, and they just slide out in the holes just like this. And that's what it'll end up looking like. Let me stick these through the hole and we'll be back. All right, YouTube, before we can put our blower motor and everything underneath the dash, we have to take our thermostat, which is this piece right here. You have to uncoil it, and you need about 2 inches of this tube to stick inside of this piece right here. And basically it just says insert capillary tube through the hole approximately 2 inches into the fans area of the coil, and then tear away after use. So basically you have to pull this out, this piece right here, and it's just a little sticky. Then you'll take your tube itself, you'll stick it through this little hole. There's a hole at the top right there. You'll stick it through that little hole just like this. Feed it down, and then you'll turn it, stick it in. You want it to go about 2 feet or 2 inches, excuse me. And then you'll just take the rest of this and coil it back up. So, just like that. And you'll take your box and you put it on. And it should just snap on. So, and just like that, that's how you put your capillary tube and your thermostat together. And then we'll just push this down, get it out of the way, make sure it's not hitting anything, and then I'll just get this snapped on and we'll be good to go. So on to the next piece. So we need to put our plate on the outside in, and it'll come through these two holes right here. And then our inside box, when it goes through, it'll go through this hole down here and then this hole up here. It's held in place with this bolt right here. There's a bolt down here, and then these two bolts on the outside here. So those bolt here and then the bolt down here, and that's how you get that through the firewall. Next we'll be putting our grommet on this, taking these covers off, putting our grommet on, and then putting our switch down there, which is this right here. This will go down there, and then this other piece right here is our drain tube. So we still got to put that on and go from there. We also have holes already drilled in the floor from the previous AC unit, so we might be able to use those. If not, it gives you another grommet and tube for that. So more to follow. Let's get to it. Our drain hole, which is right here, and it says to drill a 1 1/4 inch drill hole. And yes, that is a huge hole, but it comes with a nice grommet. Then it tells you to connect your hose to your drain hose right here, send it through the grommet and push it down. And you can cut this off wherever it went. Here's the hose right here. So that's your hose. See how long it is? So it wants this end with the staple to go through the grommet and hang down, and you can cut this end off and make it shorter. So I'll get this installed. We'll put our unit back in, then we'll get it bolted down. Next thing will be the evaporator that goes down here, and I'll get to that when we get to the firewall. Coming in, and then we'll drain hose up. We'll cut this down a little bit, probably cut it to about right here, and cut that much off of it, just because we really don't need, you know, that much extra hanging out, because all it's going to do is drip down anyway. Also, when we put our unit back in and we get ready to screw it in, that top stud that's right there is where you'll hook your ground to, which is located right here. So this will go on that stud, and you know, you'll put this on the stud, put your nut on, and this will ground your system. So I will go ahead and get this back in, loosely tighten the screws up and bolts, nuts, and all that good stuff, and then we'll be ready to go to the engine bay side. All right, YouTube, so the next thing is to put our rubber grommet over our fittings that come out. And so make sure you grease this up with some soapy water. And you want the flat side out. And then this piece right here will fit around the hole that's in your firewall. So I will go ahead and get this installed, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get back. Now that we have that grommet on, next thing will be is to put the expansion valve right here, and then we'll tape it up on the top of here along with the copper coil, and we'll be on to the next project. So let me go do that and we'll be back. All right, next, YouTube, we have to put our expansion valve on, and it goes in this brass fitting down here on the bottom. We also have to get our O-ring, so I'll go get that. And it's a number 8 O-ring. This is our number 8 O-ring. You have to lube it up with this special oil that comes in the kit. You can't use regular grease or anything like that. You have to use this because this is a type of refrigerant oil that's inside of it. So I'll get this lubed up. We'll get it put on and we're ready to go. All right, we got our O-ring in here. I know it's kind of hard to tell. Let me see if I can bring that in close. See the green O-ring? And in order to tighten this up, you need a 7/8 or 22 millimeter for this big bolt. And then for this piece right here, it's 5/8. So we'll put this on here. And this piece that hangs down, you want this parallel up and down. So just make sure when you tighten it, you keep that straight up and down. And you also want to make sure when you tighten this, you don't tighten it too tight and you crush that washer, and that'll cause a leak. So I will go ahead and get this finished getting tightened up, and then we'll be back. This copper piece, you want to carefully bend this up, and you want this coil piece to lay on top of this pipe right here. So we're just going to bend this up. And set it right on top of here, just like that. And then it comes with this piece right here, and basically this clips on the bottom and it clips around the top of the coil right here and just holds it in place, just like this. So I'll get this on and then we'll be back. Once you get your coil on, this kit comes with this kind of foamy rubbery stuff that you're supposed to wrap around it as an insulation. So you just stick it through here and you just wrap it around. And just like that, it's on to the next step. All right, next YouTube, it wants us to put the defrost hose, and it goes on this oval looking piece up here. This is the front right here with all your hoses and everything that goes to the vents that go up front. So it also has a, they call it a flat Y. This is the hose we'll be using, this 2.5 inch. This is what we'll be using to split the hose to go up to our vents, which one is located here, the other one is located there for the defrost. We'll temporarily use these ones just to get it mocked up because these are all brittle and tore up. You figure 57 years, so we got some new ones coming. So again, this is just temporary, so we'll get these mocked up just so we can continue on. So I will do that, and then we'll be back and I'll show you with the finished product. All right, so I did use some zip ties. This is just to help keep the hose from coming off when it's being pulled or something like that. So you don't have to use zip ties. I just did as an extra safety measure. So just wanted to show you that. We got our ducting run on both sides. That one fell back inside, but we'll pull it back out, no big deal. We got everything hooked up down here for the defrost side, up there. Here's our Y. There's our Y right there, hooked up to the top of the unit. Next, it wants us to put in our new control panel, and it looks like the old ones, but it's all electronic on the back. And basically it just has these little brackets right here. You unscrew them, you put this in, put your brackets back on, and it pulls up against the opening, the frame of the opening, and that's how it holds itself in. And then your wire connectors will hang down. So I will go ahead and get this installed, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, YouTube, we got our control head in. I went ahead, jumped ahead, and just hooked up some of the wiring. It's pretty self-explanatory. Everything's color coded, so you just match wire with wire. There's 2 wires that go out to a switch source, so you'll have to do that. They're orange. There's a ground wire I just hooked in to where my radio is grounded, along with the harness for the truck. Over here, this will come down. Your relays and everything are over here where your 12-volt source is. You come down here, you got to plug in your blower motor here. There's a wire that plugs into your defroster right there. There's these 2 wires up here that go to your thermostat, those 2 green wires. And then you have to run 1 green wire out along with a wire in, which is this wire right here. And those come out in your firewall. And it comes, I just put them through that extra grommet that we had that's right here. So this green wire will go to your compressor, and that one connector that was in there that I showed you goes to your heater control valve. So next, it wants us to put the rear or the Underdash Louvers in. I still have to clean up this wire and tie it up now that we have it in. But the moment of truth, let's go over here and test it and see if it works. If we should be able to turn this on and have some noise come. Oh. No, that is the dash. So all these vents right here, these 4 vents is in the front right there. There's your dash. So if I turn it to defrost, which is this up here, now these up here should be, yep, blowing air. Yep, blowing air. Alright, so we know it works, so we'll continue on the process. I'll get these bottom vents installed, And then we'll use, next will be the, start working on the compressor and the condenser outside. All right, YouTube, we got our vents in over there. I still got to clean up the wires. Those wires right there are for the radio, which we're probably going to end up putting up here, but we'll see. So this is the last vent right here, and I'm just using some self-tappers to put it into the bottom of the dash. Then you have this piece that actually connects to the hose, and then it snaps into the back of here. So what I've been doing is, when it comes to the hose itself, so when it comes to the hose itself, you have to squeeze it to make an oval. And then you just slide it on here just like this. And it has to go over these little tabs right here. I can see them little tabs. But anyway, there we go. Alright, so see these little tabs right here? So this has to fit over those tabs. So you just do like this, push it on. And what I've been doing is, for all of these, I'm using zip ties to go around it. And that helps secure it in place to keep it from coming off. Like that. Then we'll use our little snips, cut it flush, and that's a done deal. And then this will just snap onto the back of the vent itself, and then we'll have to force it on this last. Where you see that? Get off of there. But there's a last vent that's up here, right here, that we got to put it on. All right, YouTube, get that cleaned off. Next, we're going to remove our bypass because we didn't have a heater box before. One thing I did do is I put the block off plate right there, that round thing. So now we're going to hook up our heater hoses. It's a good thing I kept these things just in case. So we're also going to install our valve. Now you can put this on the inside of the vehicle, but if it ever leaks for some reason or another, you're gonna have issues because it's you have coolant all in your floorboards. So it's better to put it out here, so if it breaks, leaks, cracks, whatever, we are still good to go and no leak on the ground. So I will go ahead and start wiring this stuff up, or actually plumbing this stuff up, and we'll go from there. All right, YouTube, we got our heater hose lines on. We got our worm clamps on. Got our heater valve in. We got it connected to our water pump. So small line is your inlet, and the big line is your outlet, if I'm correct. So if not, I'm sure y'all let me know in the comments. But anyway, everything is good. Doesn't look like we got any leaks, so we'll have to wait till we get it started up. Next, we're gonna start working on the compressor bracket. In order to get the compressor bracket in, we have to remove this tensioner right here and remove our belt. So, and then we'll use these 3 holes right back here on the head, these bolts right here, and that's what'll hold our new compressor in. So I'll get this off and we'll be back. All right, YouTube, I finally got the compressor bolted in and everything. So one of the mistakes I made was I had these little small spacers right here, back here, and it was throwing it off. So I had to take everything back loose and put it together. So these spacers back here, these spacers right here are 3/8. There should be 3 of them. The 2 spacers in the middle, those are 2 3/8, I think is what it is. And then these spacers down here on the right, those are 1-inch spacers. But it's hissing because it's vacuum sealed, so you will hear some. There you go. And this should go just like this. We do have our green rings in here. We lubricated them with the oil that came with the kit. That's the only type of oil you should be using on these. YouTube, we have our condenser, everything hooked up. So don't pull a rich and put it in upside down. So I had to take everything back off, flip it, and then put everything back on because these were not lining up. This big one goes on the top, the smaller one goes on the bottom, but I had it reversed. Make sure when you tighten these, you don't want to crush the washer, the little O-ring that's inside, the little green one. Just get them snug. We did use a grommet to go through here. There's another grommet on the other side that comes out where they come out down here underneath your battery box. This skinny hose is this same skinny hose that goes to your dryer. This bigger hose is this other hose that's down here. So the skinny hose goes over here to the bottom of your evap right here. And then you have this hose right here, which comes down and goes back to the condenser. And these can only fit in one way. So don't worry about trying to get them mixed up or anything like that. And then we have this hose right here, which goes down and it circles around and it comes back into the firewall. Now they did give you a little extra length on hoses just because engine torque and things like that. So we will have to figure out how to keep these things away from the engine and all that good stuff. So just like that, we're done with our AC install. If you want to see me charge it, pull the vacuum, all that good stuff, you'll have to stay tuned for another video because this one wore brother out. We still got to put our belt on, which should be too easy, and we still got to hook up our compressor wire now that we're done, but we'll wait till we get ready to start it and pull some Freon for that. So, and it just goes right here. So until then, next time, peace.